Now watch as Valerie is going to give the signal for Kaibach to find a target. But this time, Valerie isn't providing the target. This time, the target's right over here to the island on the right, where you'll see Andrew now slapping the surface of the water. Here comes Kaibach, and she finds that target over here. Now we say thank you to Kaibach with some fish, and then we give her that same signal to find a target. This time the target's right back there with Valerie. Let's watch as Kaibach makes her way back there. Let's see if she finds this target. And she does. Now this is a really fun, yeah, you can give her that applause, absolutely. This is a really fun game that the animals enjoy. But it's also a practical game. Sometimes we have to ask the animals to move around to different parts of the habitat. So now that you've seen the basics of how we train our beluga whales, we want to show you how some of that can come together. So let me turn it over now to our trainers in Shed Aquarium's beluga whales. Presentation is to introduce you to all sorts of different animals that we have here at Shed Aquarium. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to bring out another animal for you to meet. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we set up this animal for success. That's how this training works so well here at Shed. Setting up an animal for success means that we make sure that there's very few distractions. And so what we're doing right now is we're asking our whales to join us in a different part of the habitat, because something that might be a little bit distracting for this next animal is having several 1,000-pound beluga whales in the water. And another thing that might be a little bit distracting is having guests moving around during this training, because this next animal that we're bringing out is actually going to be joining us right out here on this walkway in front of all of you. So this is where it's especially important that you stay seated. Now the next animal that we're going to be bringing out is a red-tailed hawk. Now you're going to be able to get a nice close look at this animal. And it looks actually like Eric is just about ready. So I'm going to turn it over to Eric and our red-tailed hawk, Shasta. Take a close look. Shasta is early on in our red-tailed hawk training. Now eventually we're going to be asking Shasta to fly for us, but we want to demonstrate the very important first step of getting these hawks to fly. One of the first steps is simply getting them comfortable in front of large groups of people. So you'll see Eric doing different sorts of behaviors, different sorts of training with this hawk, using those same tools that we were using with our beluga whales, using that whistle, also doing some things where he touches the hawk. And really what we're asking the hawk to do in these games is simply to remain calm. There's different reasons why we might have to touch the hawk when we're taking care of it. You saw Eric touching the hawk's keel as a muscle of the breastbone of the hawk. And feeling that, to feel how healthy that is, gives us a good overall picture of the animal's health. Now again, we're just getting the hawk used to being in front of large groups of people. We also want to thank the hawk for playing these games with us. So you saw us feeding our beluga whales some fish. What we're feeding our hawks is nice, juicy, tasty bits of mouse. Yeah, not very appetizing for human beings. But as you can see, Shasta really enjoys it. Now, Shasta has very good eyesight. Hawks can see something as small as a mouse from as high up as 130 feet in the air. That's why you see Shasta looking around out there in the crowd. So how about a nice round of applause for Shasta and Eric? You see Shasta is very calm. Shasta was very calm during that training session. So after we work with the hawks, we get them comfortable in front of groups of people, we can then do some other things as well. We can start doing some advanced training with our hawks. You'll see that Nina has joined us right out there to the island in the back. So we're going to bring out another hawk for you to meet today. Now Echo is going to be coming and joining us. And Echo is going to be showing off one of the hawk's most beautiful things that they can do, and that's soaring. Nice flying. You're going to see them fly right across this water. Now it looks like Kurt's ready and Mina's ready as well. And here comes Echo, so I'm going to turn it over to them. necessarily mean that when we first asked Echo to fly for us, we asked Echo to fly from right here all the way across the water. We actually start pretty much right next to where you see Echo landing. And then little by little, we move further and further along the outside of the habitat until Echo is ready to fly right out here. So folks, that's not the last animal that we want you to meet today. We're going to bring out another animal for you to meet. And we want to do that with a lot of energy and a big round of applause. Let's bring out Shed Aquarium's Pacific white-sided dolphins. So folks, you'll see our trainers entering the habitat. Once again, they have those very same tools that they were using with the beluga whales. You might be wondering what those colored shapes that they have are for. We dip those in the water, and that lets our dolphins know which trainer they're going to be working with. So you'll see we'll dip those in the water. Each one of those colored shapes is like a name tag for the dolphin. They swim around and they try to find that name tag that belongs to them. So what we showed you in the beginning of this presentation was just one of the ways that we can train these animals. There's other ways as well. Maybe simply by doing what you're doing right now, watching the animals. Because on their own, they do some pretty cool things. For instance, if you look towards the center, this is very big for a dolphin. To scratch an itch. Or if you look right over here to the left, you'll see a dolphin showing off how fast it can swim, or a dolphin taking a peek at what's going on up here above the water. Yeah, you can get that on the water. Now all of these things that you saw the dolphin we see them do these things, we blow the whistle. Remember what that whistle sound means. It means thank you or good job. And because of the relationship we have with these animals, when they know that we like something that they do, there's a good chance that they'll do it again. Then when they start to repeat this behavior, that's when we assign a hand signal to ask them to do it on cue. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to ask these dolphins to do an amazing natural behavior. We're going to do that. We're going to focus over here on Angie. You'll see Angie right over here to the island on the right. She's going to ask Cree to swim towards the center of the habitat and leap into the air. Now, timing here is very important, folks. So watch for that hand signal and listen very closely for the whistle. There's a hand signal. Now watch towards the center. Fantastic leap into the air by Cree. Now, did anybody hear what that whistle sound was? It was at the highest point of Cree's jump. That told Cree that height was the most important thing. But we can blow the whistle at different times, and that would tell Cree different things. Say we blew the whistle as Cree's body hit the water and made a big splash. That would tell Cree that that splash is the most important thing. That's exactly how we're going to soak everybody in the first 3 rows right here with very cold water, as soon as I get out of the way. Just kidding, we're not going to do that. Everybody else wanted that to happen, of course. We will blow the whistle at a different time, and I want you to see how this changes the rules of the game. So again, watch for that hand signal and listen for the whistle. There's the hand signal. Now watch towards the center. There's one jump with no whistle. Let's see what happens. Second jump, still no whistle. And there's a whistle on the third jump. How about a big round of applause for Cree? She does a nice move back over to Angie to see what game we're going to be playing next. Now you see what happened there. Cree jumped once and didn't hear the whistle, so she knew that the game wasn't over. That whistle is a way of us saying, good job. That's the end of the game. That's what we're looking for. So now what we want to do is we want to show you how we take that relationship that we built with these animals in the first part of the training. We keep building it. We foster that relationship. We also do some different things to provide some variety to them as well. So you'll see that Angie is going to be taking a dip in this very cold 55-degree water. Thank you, Angie, for doing that for us. And Angie's going to be joined by one of our dolphins out here, right in the center of the water. We're simply going to be doing some of those very same games that you see the dolphins playing with us while we're standing on the islands. We're going to be playing those same games with the dolphins in the water. You'll see the dolphin mimicking what Angie is doing in the water. For instance, dolphins learn how to be dolphins by watching adult dolphins. So we can use that to do some different things as well. We can have them mimic us to do different training. And remember, folks, if it looks like the dolphins are having fun, enjoying this, because they are, this training is fun for them. It's time for them to play and learn. And having these different games that we can play with them, like asking the dolphin to slap the surface of the water with their tail. When they're in the wild, dolphins use that to corral fish, or they can use it to communicate with other dolphins as well. Or asking them to wave goodbye. Have a nice round of applause for Angie and Angie as well. So folks, the goal that we have here when we have our animals here at Shed is we want to make sure that we provide the best home possible for them. And what we do to do that is we make animal care our top priority. Health and well-being for our animals is our top priority here at Shed. We can actually see how we use this training to provide health care to these animals. So if you look into the habitat, you can actually see some of the ways in which we do that with these animals. For instance, if you look over here to the island on the left, you'll see that Christy is just taking a close look at Cottrell's eye. Just doing a little eye exam. While we're doing this, we're just dribbling a little bit of water, just petting Cottrell to make sure that Cottrell is comfortable. What we're looking for is we're looking to make sure that the eye is clear, not hazy or cloudy in any way. It's a good overall look at the animal's health. Another thing you can see is a dental exam going on over here with Emmy and Piquette. You'll see that we're just tickling Piquette on the tongue, playing some games with Piquette, and while we're doing that, we're checking on Piquette's dental health, the health of her teeth, her mouth, and her gums. Over here on the right, you'll see another game going on with Valerie, actually rather with Angie. You'll see that we're holding the dolphin by the tail and tickling it on the tail. Now this is the blood-taking position. We're not taking blood right now. We'll actually play this game up to 10 times a day while only taking blood once a month. Doing this, turning it into a game, helps the dolphins feel comfortable when the time actually comes to take blood. So in this way, by turning these medical examinations into games that the dolphins enjoy, they take part in their own health care. So folks, you've seen how we train animals, you've seen why this training is so important. Now we want to show you how all of that comes together. And to do that, I don't need to say anything more. I just need to turn it over to our trainers at Shed Aquarium's Pacific White-Sided Dolphins. Every day here at Shed Aquarium. Now that the show is over, we can head up the stairs to the left for the 40 meter, or downstairs to my right for the